Perfect. Hi, my name is Justin Schmidt. I'm the Executive Manager for Hexagon Solutions at Hexagon. And in this presentation, I'd like to overview the Hexagon hydrology overall solution, or as we call the H2O solution. The H2O solution was able to be created once Hexagon had acquired Intergraph company in 2010. And we saw the opportunity to look at the integration and the synergies between the technologies from the various companies under Hexagon Group, including Intergraph and Leica Geosystems specifically. This integration allows us to use existing technologies that are available from both Intergraph and Leica, but to tightly integrate these technologies to offer added value to clients. This integration and the solution has also allowed us to enter into some new market areas that we have not been working on in the past. So the H2O solution focuses on the business of critical water infrastructure. So for critical water infrastructure, this can be anything related to a river system, such as dams, bridges, tunnels, with a specific focus on dams and reservoirs as an initial starting point. It doesn't matter what kind of dams and reservoirs are in place, whether they're the standard flood control dams, levee systems, mining or tailings dams, or hydro-producing power plant dams. The focus is essentially on all of these critical infrastructures with the surrounding areas of the reservoirs, both upstream and downstream from the dam itself. We most want to focus on preventing dam failures and recovering from any potential dam failures. This would be the worst case scenario. However, the solution is also designed to look at the broader aspects of dam operations, dam maintenance, and engineering design, several other areas as well. So the main primary thing is dam failures. And within dam failures, we're looking at predicting where possible or monitoring where possible for natural disasters, such as earthquakes, heavy rains, flooding, landslides, and such, as well as dam failures that are man-made. So man-made disasters could include poor maintenance, poor construction, aging infrastructure, or man-made errors such as failure of instruments, failure to monitor the specific dam, and that could result in loss of the dam and catastrophic failure. Other things we're concerned about obviously could include lesser type of hazards such as fires, illegal logging, water quality, etc. In some cases, those are the more important things to worry about as well. So our solution is focused at looking at all aspects of the dam, obviously with these being some of the highest considerations. The thing that H2O solution primarily would like to help is the avoidance of flood events as a result of the failure of a dam. And there are several examples of flood events that can take place. These can be heavy rain floods, where basically during heavy rain, the operator will purposely open the floodgates to avoid the reservoir from filling above its maximum capacity, and this could result in a flood downstream. It could also be from an actual dam failure because of overcapacity of the dam. And the dam failure not necessarily means a full breach of the dam by breaking the dam wall, etc. That could also be overtopping. So how is Hexagon's H2O solution positioned to help with these different challenges? First of all, we offer a wider range of technologies, both hardware, measurement tools, as well as engineering and design software to assist during the design and the construction of dams. This could not only be used for the brand new construction of dams, but also for rehabilitation and remediation work that takes place on dams. Our design and engineering software will allow engineering design constructors and companies to build electronic records and 3D visualization models of the facility, of the dam before construction, which will produce bill of materials and other reports needed to do the acquisition of materials, manage the shipment of the materials to the construction site, and manage the construction phases as well. The hardware offered through the solution will help to monitor and ensure accuracy in the actual build-up and construction of the dam. The solution also allows operators to have dashboards that will allow them to monitor the performance and the health of the dam, as well as linking in with other key operating systems such as SCADA systems, human resource management systems, and other operational systems such as flood control systems. It'll also help to provide the latest and greatest information to the maintenance crews that are out performing maintenance tasks, whether they are emergency maintenance or routine or planned maintenance events. And the key thing is that the solution will ensure that whether you're an engineer, designer, an operator, a maintenance person, although you have different roles and you'll access the data from different locations and different systems, you will always be looking at the latest and the most accurate information from what we call a single source of truth. The H2O solution particularly focuses on the surveillance and monitoring of the assets of the dam. When it talks about surveillance, we're talking about, and monitoring, we're talking about monitoring the health of the structure of the dam, as well as the upstream and downstream and surrounding areas, such as the embankments around the dam, that we're looking for things like landslides or other issues. And for security, we're worried about physical security, intrusion detection of the actual facilities themselves and the surrounding areas and reservoirs. The solution is able to integrate most of the sensors and instruments that are in place at any particular dam site, whether it's CCTV cameras, piezometers, water level gauges, flow meters, or other instruments that are in place at the dam. The solution will integrate all of this and bring it to a single dashboard, which allows further integration to other systems such as dispatch and response systems or alarm systems and early warning systems when potential threats or issues are found at the site. We also have a wide array of technologies for preparing for emergency situations and responding to actual emergencies that take place. Again, this can cover a wide range of emergencies, including regular routine issues that may be smaller, that are not necessarily requiring full public safety response, such as a flood. It could be things like a fire, somebody that is trespassing in the area, debris that could be flowing down into the reservoir, a reservoir gate, floodgate that may be jammed. Any kind of emergency, any kind of situation can be planned for, prepared. People can simulate using the system to carry out simulation and training. And then during the actual response, we can allow people to coordinate and collaborate during the event, communicate during the event, which is very important, and also dispatch the right resources to the right locations to perform their tasks of response, cleanup, and recovery. The main drivers that are driving the industry and allowing Hexagon to focus on the H2O solution is essentially down to a few factors. One of the main things is giving the ability to the owners and the designers, constructors, and all the various stakeholders that are involved in these assets to essentially manage the risk of this asset and reduce the risk of the asset as well. This takes into consideration three things: the actual performance of the asset, which is carried out again by the design and construction of the asset, as well as the ongoing monitoring and maintenance of the asset. And if that asset was to fail, what would be the social and the economic impact? Social impact, obviously loss of life, loss of property, and economic impact, loss of revenues, especially if it's a hydro producing facility or a tailings dam on a mine, but also the cost of infrastructure downstream that may be damaged through the failure of that asset. So our system is designed with the goal in mind to help the owners and the stakeholders to manage these aspects of the facility. When we talk about dam safety management is a very large topic and a very important topic throughout the world. Almost all organizations involved in managing dams, owning dams, designing dams, put safety of those assets at the topmost priorities of managing and owning that asset. So within safety management, there are usually a way to categorize the dams into what we call a dam safety action class. This is just an example of how the dams can be classified. And based on the classification of the dam, will determine the outcome in terms of the performance of the dam. So that means if, for example, the dam safety team establishes that this dam is a record of 5, which is the one in green at the bottom of this chart, it means that the dam is considered adequately safe. It meets all the essential guidelines of the organization or regulatory body that's managing the dam safety programs, and residual risk is considered tolerable. That means the dam can continue routine dam safety activities, normal operations, and maintenance. However, as we escalate, and maybe the score is to a 2 or a 3, for example, that would impact the emergency action planning routines. It will also impact the ability on how you can operate the facility. You may have to lower the reservoir. You may have to increase the amount of monitoring that you do for safety and risk monitoring. And there'll be a lot more activity at that facility to ensure that this dam is considered to be safe. It may also require for remediation or projects that would cost hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to fix the dam. So we want to help to ensure that we can accurately document the safety of this dam, and our solution will help the end users and the dam safety organizations and engineers to collect, organize, and manage the information that categorizes their facility and professionally documents the status of that dam for all the regulatory authorities. It's very important that all these assets have some form of ongoing systems that continue to monitor the actual performance of the asset, as we said before, for the health. But there are a lot of factors that determine not only the physical structure of the dam in terms of its status, but also other information such as weather information that would play a vital role in the overall river system management and the possible stresses that can be put on that particular facility. Therefore, it's important to design in very accurate and very timely early warning systems, so any potential threats or risk on that asset can be immediately reported to the right people at the right time and allow them to do their emergency response or their response as required to avoid a catastrophe, to minimize the risk, and hopefully continue the operation of the facility in a very safe manner. The H2O solution will focus on all of these procedures and manage all the actions and all the people involved throughout all these steps. So the H2O solution highlights. Essentially, the H2O solution is made up of several modules. This is just a highlight on some of the key modules that are available through the program, through H2O solution. However, there may be other solutions that are not here, but can be integrated to the solution. So in the next several slides, I will go through the details of what is the H2O interoperability platform, as well as the surrounding modules that are integrated through it. The H2O interoperability platform, however, is the heart of the system and what basically makes the system very competitive in terms of its applicability to solving all these challenges. On the outside of the interoperability platform, the core modules include the H2O dashboard, the H2O mobile, emergency operations center, real-time monitoring tools, flood modeling, notification, and information management. These are some of the very core aspects of the solution that we'll cover in the next several slides. So the H2O interoperability platform essentially is a configurable rules and policy engine, task management, common center interface, and allows for the connections to relative hexagon or third-party applications. An important note here is that we say the system is configurable and rules-driven. That means with almost no, or in some circumstances, very minimum development, you can achieve integration between different applications, different databases, and different platforms, and allow sharing of information between these applications. And the rules mean that you can put very essential rules for ensuring the accuracy, consistency of the data that is moving between the different applications. We have already pre-configured, or as we call out-of-the-box integrators, between some of the core applications available from Hexagon, as this here. One of the desires or the goals of our solution is allowing ecosystem integration. So what does that mean? That means all the stakeholders and key players involved in designing and engineering and constructing the dam, such as what we call the EPCs, or engineering, procurement, and construction companies, the OOs, or the owners and the operators of the facility and the assets, or the EOCs, which is the Emergency Operations Centers, or other parties, including regulatory bodies, insurance agencies, etc., can all work through an integrated manner using very valuable data that we collect and manage while providing our solution. To zoom in on that, on the engineering lifecycle integration, to build any dam can take anything up to 15 years. It obviously depends on the type of the dam. There are a number of phases that you'll go through when building up the dam, including early on engineering and design phases, which has a lot of engineering design deliverables that need to come out, design reviews, construction planning, project management, document and other information management, through to construction and commissioning, through to the actual handover and the startup of the facility once the system's been commissioned. We offer a number of tools that will basically help clients to create information, manage the information, and share the information throughout its different phases. During the actual startup and handover of the facility to the operator of the dam, there's usually a very large amount of documentation information that gets handed from the EPC to the OO. And it's in these cases where a lot of information is either misplaced, lost, or has to be re-entered into the operational systems, such as the ERP systems, the enterprise resource planning systems, or SCADA systems, etc. Our solution has the ability to help to electronically move this data, securely move this data so we don't lose anything, and also help to populate or pre-build operational systems by loading critical information, asset information into those other systems. And then the performance of the dam and the monitoring of the dam, operations of the dam, could last anything up to 100 years or more. So it's very important that we keep good documented information, and as this information changes, we'll track and manage those changes as well. As we look into operations and maintenance, integration, here is just an example of several dozen very important tasks that take place during that 100 or plus years of the actual operations and running of the facility. One of the key things is we want to integrate as many of these different practices and share common information amongst these practices as possible, which will allow us to enhance the dam and reservoir operation and or the water management and flood control, power production, etc., whatever the purpose of the dam. So we have systems that will allow for simulation and training, for safety, for emergencies, for engineering, design, construction. We then also have the tools that allow inspectors to go out and carry out routine inspections in the field, cataloging and documenting all the information that they find on site, allowing them to then document and create their safety appraisals, their risk evaluation documentation, sharing all that information amongst the organization, the different departments such as safety, security, maintenance, operations management. And all the dam safety and security and emergency response systems rely on good intelligent data that is captured during inspections, during the risk evaluations, and the ongoing maintenance and operations of the facility. So by integrating all of these, we can dramatically improve the operations of the dam. Zooming in on the emergency operations integration. This is just an example or a common diagram that would be used to describe what an emergency operations center typically looks like. We have a solution that will allow multiple agencies that are involved, both internal within the dam owner and external within the public safety or other arenas, to collaborate and work together in the event of major disasters, such as a breach of the dam, an overtopping of the dam, a downstream flooding, or other hazards that may take place in the dam site. This system can be designed and used for obviously all these different agencies to work together, but can also be used within the actual dam owner's organization for even smaller incidents, like we mentioned. Smaller but also important incidents, fires that take place, illegal logging that maybe takes place, intruders and trespassers in secure areas. Those are all considered emergencies, and the system can ensure that we track, plan for, and manage all those events by integrating all these different departments and disciplines. Thank you for listening.